Yes, you guys, and how are all of you doing today? I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Line CV, and welcome to a different style of video today. I thought with the imminent arrival of Frank Lampard, maybe it's time now to start thinking about possible lineups for next season. I came across a bit of a stumbling block because when you consider some of the loan players that will be returning back to the first team, when you consider the squad we already have, you realise, wow, we have quite a lot of depth in midfield and in defence in particular, and it's going to make it quite hard to really ascertain what the main lineup is going to be for next season. So for today's video, I'm going to give a future prediction on how I think the team may eventually look, maybe at the end of this season, or maybe sometime in the future after that. But don't worry though, to fully cover this and to really go into detail, I will be doing another video discussing how I think the team will line up at the start of the season, the middle stage of the season, and then right at the end of the season, so we can all really get an idea of how we're going to develop as a team and how we may look under Frank for next season. Obviously, with pre-season starting very soon now, that's going to give us the clearest indication in regards to what type of players Frank is assessing, what type of players could be playing for us in the first team, and who might be some of the guys that won't be featuring too much under Frank Lampard. Now, before I start the video, today's video is brought to you by the OneFootball app. You'll find the link in the description below. Download the OneFootball app because it's going to help you guys out during the summertime. If you want a nice and quick, easy hub to get access to all the latest news surrounding clubs or players of your interest, then the OneFootball app is the best app for you guys. If you want that, it will be in the link in the description below. Now, without wasting any more time, getting straight into things, starting with the goalkeeper for next season, and this is easy. It's obviously going to be Kepa in goal. And with Kepa, I thought his first season in the Premier League went very well. Some amazing acrobatic saves, some great shot stopping ability, and that defining moment in the season, that argument with Sarri in the Carabao Cup final, ended up being a moment which really gave him more strength, which really made him grow as a person. And I really feel like that needed to happen because Kepa definitely benefited from that incident. Kepa is going to be the goalkeeper to start under Frank Lampard. Now, before I talk about the right back, I want to say one more time, you guys. Remember, today's video is based on how the team could look in the distant future and what Lampard could be trying to build towards. And for me, that's going to be Reece James. And Reece James is the best right back for us. He is the future in that position. How much more praise can I give the player? I mean, the guy is built like Ivanovic. His crossing delivery is top class. He can spray a pass from any angle. Very skillful, very creative, very press resistant as well. The modern day fullback. He really is. And I'm expecting him to cement his place in the first team next season because Reece really is that good. I can't lie, I've always dreamed to see Chris and Zuma playing in defence together. Both have great pace, very good aerially, very clean tackles as well. Christensen is rarely out of position, and whenever he is, he wins the ball. Now, of course he can improve, and one aspect I'd like to see Christensen developing is with his distribution out from the back. Now with Christensen, he's the type of defender similar to a De Ligt, who likes to leave his position and carry the ball into midfield, but I just don't see us using him in that way. And for him to adapt and improve to the new demands, he has to be able to learn how to start attacks from deep. And to partner Christensen, I gave it away already, it has to be King Kurt Zouma. Now Kurt Zouma last season, underrated. I've always felt this guy's been incredibly underrated. When you just assess him from a purely objective point of view, he's a perfect defender. Very tall, amazing leap, powerhouse in the air, and I mean it, you guys. Him and Van Dijk are the best two aerial defenders in the league, and on top of that, Zouma has this type of elegance in his play, and he kind of reminds me of like a Lilian Thuram. Zouma knows how to win a ball very cleanly if it's in the air, using his body or slide tackles. At Everton last season, he was playing on the left-hand side of the defence, and playing in this role meant that Zouma had to be able to start attacks, be able to make progressive passes out from the back, and that was one thing which he really excelled in. So when it comes to his technical abilities, the guy has it all, and for me, if this guy isn't a first team defender in the next season, Frank, we're going to have some issues. And to finish the back four, it can only be Emerson as the left back. Now last season, Emerson only grew and grew as the season progressed, and I think for this season, now that he feels more confident, now that he feels like he has a position that he could be losing, we're really going to see the real Emerson. And with Emerson's introduction last season, not only did he help us out defensively down that left hand side, but due to his pace, due to his one-on-one defensive ability, it really helped keep that back four shape in line. And of course, there were a few times where Emerson was out of position, but let's remember the guy's still young, he's still 24, and you get the sense that there's a lot more to come from him. And I really feel like next season is going to be that season that Emerson shows what he's really about. Now moving into that midfield three, and this is where things get very difficult. Very, very difficult, but I've already explained the nature of today's video, and due to that, in the base of the midfield, I've gone for N'Golo Kante. Now when it comes to N'Golo Kante, you really can't afford to have a team without him. For me, Kante really improved as a player under Sarri. Not only did he become more press resistant, but he was able to be much more confident, making forward passes, and that was always one thing which really stopped Kante at times. Kante became much more adaptable when he was defending as well. When it came to his defensive game though, Kante did improve as well. Kante is the type of player that likes to hound down an opposition player, but under Sarri, due to having to understand when to press him and not to, he really learned how he needs to position himself whenever he's off the ball. And I'll say one more thing as well, when he realised that under Frank Lampard, we are going to be focusing our plays and our attacks down both flanks. We aren't going to be playing through the middle like we did under Sarri. It means that a regista isn't as important because it's not as if Kante will be getting more than 100 passes per game. And as long as he has the left mids or the right mids dropping deep to help support him whenever he needs that, I feel as if we'll be in pretty safe hands. Now moving on to the number 8 position, and for me, there's only one player for that role. His name is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And with Ruben, the frustration that I feel for this guy. How unlucky. I still can't get over the club's massive mistake in having to make us play that friendly during that time of the season. It gets like that, it's peak, I know, but when it comes to Ruben, you can see his world-class potential. And yeah, I definitely believe that Ruben does have world-class potential when you assess what he introduced to the team last season. Ruben had that same talismanic presence that Hazard used to have. When he was introduced into the team, the whole team improved. Not only were we more inventive in the final third, not only did we have goal threat as well, but we also got more goals. Now that Ruben's learned to use his body strength, you can see the similarities with Michael Ballack and Yaya Toure. He really does have everything he needs in his locker, and all I can say is I can't wait for Ruben to come back fully fit. You know, I love his elegant dribbling style. For a guy that big, a guy that tall, his center of gravity when he runs with the ball, the way the ball's glued to his foot as well, is always one of the most impressive things about the player. And I really love that type of stuff because it lets me know that the player's constantly aware and constantly thinking about what he's doing, and I can't wait to see him back. Now to partner Kante and Ruben, we have Cover, Jorginho, Bakayoko and Barkley, but I think the player that might potentially get that role later on is going to be Mason Mount. Now Mason Mount is a player I'm really excited to see for next season. For a player so young, we need to remember he's only 20 years old. Look at the experience he's accumulated so far, playing key roles for both of his loan clubs. With his set piece ability, he's a threat from corners and free kicks. He's very comfortable operating between the lines and in the half spaces, and this style of player has become very essential in modern day football, and he has great spatial intelligence. He's the type of player that knows when to make the timing of the run, he knows what position to be in, he knows how to create those overloads against the opposition, but on top of all of that, he has goal threat. Mason Mount knows how to win you a game. Mason Mount knows how to get goals. And it's quite evident when you look at his shooting technique, when you look at his set piece technique, when you look at how he gets in the box to make those finishes, and when you realize that he has something very similar to Frank Lampard, and that's this type of improvisation when it comes to finishing. The guy is a top talent, he's very exciting, and I think when you have a midfield with him, with his amazing pressing ability, with Ruben linking the play as well, and with Kante being that protection behind them, things look very positive. Now to end the video, focusing on the 3 remaining players, I'll be starting on the left wing side, and of course, who else is it going to be? Callum Hudson-Odoi. And when it comes to Callum Hudson-Odoi, there's one thing in particular that I'm very excited to see for next season, and that's to see the link-up play between Callum and Mason Mount. Now, for those of you guys who are patterned when it comes to our youth team, that's one positive, but when it comes to Callum, there's so many more. With Hudson-Odoi having the left-hand side for himself, I feel as if we'll really see what this guy's really about, because now he can play on his best side, playing to his best strengths, which includes cutting inside, taking shots, creating space, and using his pace in great effects. And I've already told you guys that when it comes to Frank Lampard's system, he loves creating overloads out wide, and that was a system in which Hudson-Odoi really profited from. And when you consider that he'll have Emerson and a number 8 to play with, you guys, next season, Hudson-Odoi is going to be a massive problem for the Premier League. Moving on to the right wing position, and it's going to be our new American boy wonder, Christian Pulisic. Now, I've said this before, you guys, but when it comes to Christian, we need to manage our expectations. He's very exciting, we can't deny that. Look at his one-on-one ability, he's been very good for America in the Gold Cup as well, and you see that he has a lot of great attributes in his game. Very press resistant, very good at beating his man, extremely fast. He is very good at making runs in behind as well. But of course, he is far from being the finished article. And I think that with more time, with more patience, and a few more seasons, Christian Pulisic could really become something quite special, or something very good at least. Ideally, I would like to see him get more goals, but I do understand that you need a degree of consistency when it comes to being given that game time. But with Christian Pulisic, the guy is a good player, and I think that with the right coaching in the right system, they're going to be the 2 important things that's really going to help elevate his game. Now to end things with the striker, out of Olivier Giroud, Michy and Tammy, I feel that Tammy Abraham will eventually get that first team spot. Now, Tammy Abraham is another player who I feel personally is quite misunderstood. Tammy Abraham has a fantastic opportunity for next season, and in that sense, he's one of the players that really needs to make something happen to start cementing his place in the squad. Now, when it comes to Tammy, his dribbling is very underrated. He knows how to get past someone. As I said, for guys that watch the youth team, you would have seen that Tammy Abraham used to play on the right wing before he played up front. Now, I can kind of understand why he might not be too sexy to some fans, because you've only seen him play for very limited teams in that sense, who have used him in very basic roles. But Tammy Abraham does have more to his game, and working alongside better players, better coaches that really helps elevate his game in the first place, Tammy's coming back to the best environment to grow and improve as a player. But on top of that, one thing you get with Tammy is goals, and I think playing in a team like ours, where we don't necessarily need our striker to be like a Suarez that's going to do like a madness, we need a striker that knows how to put the goals in the back of the net, and Tammy's showing consistently that he knows what he's doing. If it's with his header, his left foot or his right foot, the guy's always in the perfect position to get goals. It's really as simple as that. I see him continuing his style of play at this club because he's playing alongside a lot of players that already know his game, and he feels confident in the system. So honestly, this is a win-win situation. And on that note, that's it, you guys. As you guys can see, this is the lineup I'm expecting to see at one point this season. I feel as if this is a very young lineup with high potential, a lineup that can grow and improve and develop as the years go on. Yeah, there are some positions that could be strengthened, but I don't feel as if we need 5 or 6 players. That will come in time. I'm gonna say this one more time. This video in particular is just a hypothetical in regards to how this lineup could potentially look in the distant future. In the comment section below, write down your preferred lineups you'd like to see for next season. I'm gonna keep it moving, you guys. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV, signing out.